How's it going, everybody? I am Donut, and we are reacting to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 2. I don't remember the name of it. Hold on, let me check it. Classic me, Purpose in the Machine. Purpose in the Machine. So, that could be my purpose in S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. is the machine. You know, maybe like Daisy, maybe, I think primarily Daisy would be from the perspective of. Then otherwise it could be Purpose in the Machine, Purpose in the Machine. I think that's the only thing I can really think of off the top of my head. It could be like Simmons' perspective somehow in something. I don't know, but that's the only other thing I could even hazard a guess as to. Let me try and make this lighting a little bit better. Yeah, it's better. All right. If you want to see the full length of this, check it out. $4 a month on Patreon. Check it out. If you don't want that, then let's just get the fuck into it. Okay, so let's start off this discussion with the Ward stuff. Was not expecting to get as much Ward stuff as we've been getting already. I was expecting it to be a lot of a later season thing. But, no, we're seeing Ward from his perspective, what he's doing with Hydra, in a similar sense with what Coulson is doing with S.H.I.E.L.D. They're kind of, running parallel. They're both, well, S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually bulking back up now. Like, we were previously slimming down, but equally, trying to stay hidden. The taking the logos off of the vans, assumingly, taking all the Hydra logos off of pretty much everything. They still had that one Hydra logo at their base, but for the most part, they're doing better about that sort of stuff. So Ward now going around he's already gotten a hell of a lot more people than I was expecting. Honestly, I thought that Ward's Hydra was going to be able to be counted on two hands, but no, not the case. It's most likely at its peak will probably be like under 100 people, maybe just over 100 people. I don't know. I still don't expect it to get that big. I expect it to be relatively, especially even compared to S.H.I.E.L.D., low numbers, but just very faithful people. Which is what he's doing now. He's trying to get the people who are there because they are there for Hydra and not because they're there for the money. Which, that said, though, both points where he was making this episode were about not that they were there for the money or that they were extremely wealthy, but that they were using the money, they were spending the money, but not using the thing that they spent the money on, right? He was not mad that the guy bought a very expensive car, but that the guy bought a very expensive car and wasn't driving it around and showing it off. So I'm not sure how that ties into the whole a leaner, slimmer Hydra, one that is not as obvious, because it seems like he wants them to flaunt their wealth. I'm not really sure about that. I not really sure what his point there is, but I'm not sure. We'll see a little bit later. So then we have the kid with the dad, saying give up the kid, blah blah. I don't know if they then killed the dad after that, or if the dad is still going to be a part of Hydra in some way, or if he was dealt with in another way, not exactly killed, but I don't know. We'll see. This kid, though, grandchild of Strucker, equally as petulant, and now, I gotta say, though, I give him some props, a little bit of props, for actually, going along with it, for, doing the whole thing, Ward being I'm taking all your money away, blah, 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 but I'll let you in on this Hydra stuff, and the kid's alright, fine, I'm actually more interested in this Hydra stuff than I am even having my own money, because it didn't seem like he was worried about his life right there at that point, he really should have been, but he was talking back to Ward quite a bit, so I don't really think he understood the gravity of the situation. But even then, still, he was willing to just give up the money to get into his grandfather's business and everything. Interesting take on the kid. I give him credit for being a lot more interesting than I thought he was going to be. I thought he was just going to be a petulant little shit, but... Speaking of petulant little shits, though, it was such an unbelievably Ward thought process on the boat going to get that kid. Of he's the entire time he's fighting on the boat, he's knocking everybody out, punching everybody, throwing them off the boat into the water, blah blah blah, up until one guy punches him. A single guy gets one hit on him, and he gets so mad he throws a tantrum and just shoots the guy. Like, that is Ward. So calm and collected, walking on here, not, oh, I'm the good guy, I'm not killing him, I'm just knocking him out, and then one guy punches him and he gets so mad that he kills him. So Ward, so unbelievable. He talks so much shit, but he's so easily offended. Ward is such a great villain, like, such a great, series overall villain, that it seems to be, I don't know when we're gonna, like, deal with Ward, like, kill him. I don't even know if it's gonna be this season. I could still see him sticking around for even longer. He's a great, overall villain. Loving him. And also, it helps that he is extremely smart. He is very, very smart. But as I said, because he's so easily offended, it creates these, like, allowing us to have this very smart villain that is fallible as well. So, we'll get into the whole Simmons stuff in a second, but let's talk about May quickly, because we're still talking about the Ward stuff. Normally, I try and say, let them live their normal life, like with Lincoln, let them live their normal life. They've got a thing going on, let them have it. But that's not the case with May. We could say that, but we can see what it's like. She does not have a normal life. She cannot live that normal life. She's always looking over her shoulder. She's always, like, ready for an attack. She, someone came to the door and she was immediately, like, ready to kill them. I mean, good on her to be that prepared, but as we can see, it's not something she can ignore. She can't just ignore her S.H.I.E.L.D. past. She can't ignore that Ward is out there and after her. Not as much as Ward is after Bobby or anything, but still. She knows that she can't just go back to live a normal life right now. Not yet, anyway. Not yet. Maybe she can, but not while Ward's still out there. So, she's got to deal with Ward first, and then maybe we can talk about okay, let May live a normal life, let her be happy, let her just chill with her parents, and everything's cool, everything's kosher. But, we can't have that yet, so. Really awesome to see her in a very casual setting, though, and also with her father this time. We've seen, not plenty, but we've seen some of her mother, so now getting to see some of her father as well. Really nice. May's just whole, like, thing going on is great. We got so much May life stuff, like with Andrew and her parents, and, the flashback stuff with the cavalry, and May has gotten so much, not just as a, like, person of S.H.I.E.L.D. development, through their job. A lot of times they'll, like, Mac's main development has been around his job. But, like, I do like that May's main development, it has been S.H.I.E.L.D. as well, but it's also very familial. It's very her old relationships and, her relationship with Coulson, and I love that about her. It's very, very personal with her development. It's very, other character driven. So, now, let's talk about Daisy. She is not adjusting to a leadership position very well at all. Being extremely impatient, very, very aggressive, but she's under a hell of a lot of stress. I get it. She's under an insane amount of stress from all this, with the whole new Inhuman team and just with the new, what am I trying to say? Authority that she has over the others in general, and just everything that's been happening in the world, everything that happened to her. She's under an insane amount of stress. I get it. Hopefully, she will mellow out over time, and she will be able to, with time and with help, let's hope that Andrew can actually survive long enough to help her through this, but Andrew is helping her through this. He's already doing good. I did like the scene where they were all in, like, the ancient resonance amplifier room thing, and, basically predicting exactly what Andrew says, because they are pretty, like, I love that our characters are very self-aware, they know their issues. Now, the problem is sometimes characters like Bobby, where it's like, they may know the issue, but they're not going to do anything about it. But, yeah, like, it is nice seeing that they can at least acknowledge it, and they're not, trying to deny it. That's the, hard part, where it's like, they're denying they even have a problem. But it's like, they're not denying they have a problem. They're just they're all extremely, like, I don't know what a good word is for it. Arrogant, maybe? They're all very, they act like they are characters in a show. They act like they know they're badasses. So they're like, I'm a badass. I don't need to change this aspect of myself. It's a very, they're all a very certain kind of person. You have to be a certain kind of person to be a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. And as, like, all the characters that weren't exactly that way have slowly become that way the more they work at S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. just kind of makes you that way. But, yeah, so with Daisy, hopefully, relatively soon, but I'll give her plenty of leeway, because I understand how much stuff she's in, but yeah, she does need to mellow out quite a bit. Also, it seems like Tremors is the name we're going with for her ability / her, like, code name or hero name or whatever. I thought we might have been going with, like, capital V vibrations, but no, Tremors is what we're going with. We also had the Secret Warriors name brought up. I don't know if that's the name we're actually going to go with, or if that's just another, like, nod to Secret Warriors. But yeah, possibly the name we'll be going with for the team, when we get them up and running, which, again, it's not even like when, like, how are you going to say when they're ready? She keeps doing this thing, like, she's putting on Andrew arbitrarily being like, I don't want these Inhumans in S.H.I.E.L.D., so I'm gonna keep saying that they're not ready. Like, Daisy she just does not trust Andrew to be, the fact that he is one of the best people at his job on Earth, probably. And more so than all of this, even if there wasn't a mental component to this at all, they're undergoing physical changes right now. We have to at least wait until the physical changes stop. Like, when it was like, okay, maybe it's a mental thing before, but Joey, he said he can feel it moving inside him. He can feel his DNA changing. So it is a physical change. We have to wait for that to stop, or else it's going to be bad. As we can see right now, Joey's ability is liquefying metal within a radius. But if I'm going to metagame this, I'm pretty sure that his ability is manipulating metal. Or it could just, still be liquefying metal, but he's got to be able to control it. What use is it having him on a team if he can't control the ability, right? It's pointless. It would be like early Hulk. Like, now Hulk can pretty much control it. They say that Hulk can't control it, but we've never seen that Hulk can't control it. So I call bullshit on that. But, like, yeah, that's the sort of thing. I would be very against Hulk being a part of the Avengers if he couldn't control it. So let's wait. It's not gonna. I cannot imagine that's gonna be an insanely long amount of time. Skye got her powers under control pretty relatively quickly. We need to slowly transition them through this. And also, Skye, you're an Inhuman too. I know Lincoln is, and you're not a doctor, and I get all that, but, like, you could have better of a bedside manner type talk. Seriously. But okay, let's talk about the Monolith now, and Simmons being back. I can't believe that. I really, like, if you would have given me a time to give 100 guesses as to what would happen at the end of this episode, none of them would have been, they're gonna bring Simmons back in episode 2. I was like, that's gonna be the conclusion of, like, episode 9 or 10 before we get, like, the, cutting the season in half as we always do. Yeah, they had me, like, so many times throughout it where I was like, okay, they might actually do it. No, and then every time they started to, I was like, no. I know TV, I know network television. They're not gonna do this. No way. And then, of course, being pulled back, it explodes. Simmons and when it exploded, my immediate reaction is like, oh my god, Fitz is left on the airline planet too. This is double worst case scenario. And then, no, okay, Fitz is okay, he's fine. And no, Simmons is fine. Is she actually fine? Or okay, she is fine. So much emotions in such a short amount of time there. But, like, the bulk of, like, the alien planet talk, I feel like we're gonna have to save for next episode, because we don't know much about that at all, or, like, what she went through there. There's so little to speculate on that I haven't already speculated on. Like, she woke up with a ship, so she was expecting an attack. So there was most likely alien life there that she would have also had to eat to survive and everything. The injury I assumed was from her fall, but it could have been from an attack, actually. There was, like, extremely strong weather on the planet, like wind primarily, but just extremely strong weather. Super duper strong. Still don't really have a guess as to what causes the monolith to randomly open. Like, we know the vibration can cause it, but we don't know what on the other planet was causing it to open. Because nothing in the room, when we had it in the room at S.H.I.E.L.D., I don't think there was any, like, vibration things that was causing that. I can't imagine what it would have been. Maybe Sky's powers, but no, it's been so, like, I don't think it's because that was such a specific frequency that it had to be. So it is like it lines up with a pattern of something happening on the alien planet, and then also it can be opened via a sort of frequency, which we did see there was almost like a puddle of it on the planet. There was like it wasn't like a monolith, it was like a puddle. I don't know how to put it. A resonating puddle, but I don't know if that's because it was resonating on our end or on the planet's end or whatever. But we will tackle a lot of that next episode, I assume. Super dug this episode's A plot with all the monolith and Simmons stuff and everything like that. Aside from the finales, this episode is up there with some of the single best episodes. The best single episodes. Very, very, very high up there. Randolph was an amazing addition to this episode, and I really hope that while he's not going to be a part of the team, obviously, I hope that we get him in a Mike Peterson-esque role. Also, I don't know what life he's going back to now. I don't know where he's going, because we just broke him out of prison, but, so it seems like he should be a part of the team, just because I'm not sure where else he has to go, but, if he wants to go somewhere else, let him go somewhere else. But yeah, I hope we get him, reoccurring like Mike Peterson. Not a lot, but every once in a while. And especially once the world becomes more accepting of supers and everything, it'll be a lot easier to, do stuff like that. So, yeah, Randolph, this episode, he fit in so they'll be like, to the plane line. Yeah, that slayed me. That was amazing. Such good comedic timing. Like, in his original episode, I didn't think he was that funny. He had a couple funny lines, but I wasn't like, oh man, this guy is a riot. But man, this episode soul built him perfectly. The whole monolith going through time, many years, it's been passed around to various people, been used for ritualistic killings, they said, in England, which I thought that was like tests. Sure, it looked like it required sacrifice, but it did look like tests to me. Morally ambiguous ones, but still. I didn't really see it as just ritualistic killings, but that could just be obfuscated through history and the various tellings of it and all that. We might not have the correct information and all that sort of stuff. And it's coming from Randolph, so it's not like it's a solid fact, it's just his opinion. But yeah, I am absolutely such a huge fan of the the monolith room that we got in this episode, but that sort of like genre, I don't know, not genre, but that like trope. The super old ancient technology being very important in a sci-fi show, especially when they have sci-fi stuff that can't do or they don't understand what this old ancient technology is used for, and especially with the more ritualistic side of it and all that, especially with it being British and everything. It adds so much mysticism to it. I absolutely love it. I've always talked about the Lost vibes and super big temple vibes from Lost, which I have been watching Lost for like a couple months with some friends, and one of my friends has been absolutely hating all the temple stuff in Lost because, relating it back to this, he absolutely hates that trope of super old ancient technology in like a sci-fi show, but I love that. So I know there might be some people who probably did not like this episode because they're not a fan of that trope or whatever, and I can see why, because, it is a little bit of a ridiculous trope to say that this old super ancient technology is better or could do something that their sci-fi technology can't. And again, you run into the thing of like, well, that just because they're super advanced doesn't mean they're super advanced in every way that this other, civilization was. They were specifically researching this monolith. We weren't. Blah blah blah. All that stuff goes into it. But like, I get where people could be coming from with not liking this. But me personally, loving it, eating it up, baby. All the shit like falling off and everything, and then having to like, what made this, I think, the best was that we had the machine to be like, okay, this is how it works, but we don't really know how it works, but we know it's vibration, we know it's an amp, we know that sort of stuff. So then we have that, and then we can use our sci-fi, we can use Daisy's powers to actually, you know, resonate it that way. Very, very cool. Great use of the ancient and the sci-fi and the supernatural and the alien and the everything. You know, it all came together perfectly. Having our whole team have this, like, mission where we were missing some people. We're missing a couple people, right? We're missing Hunter, we're missing May, sure. But for the most part, it was the whole team coming together. And then at the end, we also got Hunter and May reacting to the news of Simmons being, you know, A-okay. So it felt great having everybody get to be there. And so, at the end of the episode, Simmons crawling onto Fitz's lap and all that. As I said way back, I think with the, like when Simmons, you know, jumped out of the plane because she had the S.H.I.E.L.D virus and all that, and even after all that, and like, what Fitz had done for her, and beyond that, there was, there's another thing I'm thinking of that was such a big moment like that too, of Fitz doing some big, you know, hero moment essentially. But anyway, the suspension bridge effect, right? The effect of something really bad happens, you are there with this other person, especially if that person then saves you, and then that creates a emotional connection to that person. You know, it creates love essentially. But like, the main thing is, it's not like a, you know, always thing. It's not like if you're on a suspension bridge with somebody, you're gonna fall in love with them. It's if you had feelings for somebody and you are on a suspension bridge, you know, and that suspension bridge starts to wobble in the wind or whatever, that's going to make you realize your feelings for somebody more than anything else would. Or, you know, it inherently brings out those feelings. So I said, like, I cannot imagine if Simmons does have any innate feelings for Fitz, how they would come out in any way if we are not seeing it now, here, in this episode. And I said that way back in, you know, season 1, episode 6, I believe. But now I get it. Now I can see. It's like, okay, yeah, this is something that was even worse than that, and now her feelings are coming out from that, which, you know, the fact that it's taking this long, there is still the thing where they could go like, are these truly her feelings, or is she just, you know, cuddling up to the only person that she really has in this moment? Or like, you could always say that too. You could always have that part of it. I don't know where they're going to go with it here, but I said before, I don't know if I would believe that she actually has feelings, you know, because of the, you know, thing that we just got in episode 1x6. But now I believe it. I get it. This is a much bigger suspension bridge effect. I get it. This would just, you know, bring out those inherent natural feelings. Man, okay. What else do I have to say? I think I covered pretty much everything this episode. Very excited to see where we're gonna go from here. Like, we're going to, obviously, next episode is going to be a lot of just talking to Simmons and, you know, finding out what happened, getting a lot of information. It's going to be very, very exposition heavy, which I'm going to dig. Then, assumingly, we're going to, I'm going to guess we're going to do some ward stuff with May and Hunter, and then looking into the ATCU some more. But I don't think we're going to do anything particularly big with the ATCU or with that alien dude next. Well, if we're getting into the Simmons stuff, we might also get into the alien dude next episode. But ATCU, I don't think we're going to get too into next episode. I think we're going to have like a, you know, episode 4, we'll get more into them. But episode 3, I think, is going to be focused mainly on Simmons, the alien planet, the alien that is here, maybe Kree. I'm going more into, like, maybe it is just a Kree guy, with also powers. But yeah, that's my prediction. And also some Ward and May stuff. Like, that could easily be put on the back burner and not get any next episode, but I just feel like we are. So, that's my predictions. I will see you guys for the next episode. If you want to get it early, check it out on the Patreon for $4 a month. Do that. Get the fuck out of here.